So, the finals. This one came out of nowhere for me. I remember it being announced back in August of 2022, but since that announcement, this one has been pretty radio silent. Some background here, the finals is being developed by Embark Studios, founded in 2018 by veterans of DICE, the developers behind the once beloved Battlefield franchise. The game is set in this game show-like futuristic setting, the game show being called The Finals. It's quite reminiscent of Ubisoft's Hyperscape, but, not as bad as that video game was. You play a contestant on this game show competing for riches and, I guess, bragging rights. Having spent many hours in the playtest back in March of 2023, I can safely say that the Battlefield pedigree is present here, but it's layered in with a bunch of fresh DNA of its own. I playtested this on my main PC using a 1080 Ti GPU and an i7-8700K CPU. Everything ran fine on my end with the exception of some frame drops and stuttering seen only in OBS. Also, worth a mention, I had no big issues or bugs to speak of. There was definitely some minor visual issues, shadows, textures and lighting popping in, but that was very rare. But that's it. Quite impressive given the unfinished nature of this game, but overall it ran very, very well. The Finals is an arena-based first-person shooter that focuses on objective-based PvP combat using a variety of weapons and gadgets available to you. What's interesting here is your class dictates what weapons and gadgets you can use, echoing the class system that Battlefield fans long for since 2042's release. For example, the light class allows the use of a silence pistol and a grappling hook, which is a very fun combo by the way. The medium class gives you an assault rifle and a healing gun, and finally the heavy class, which gives you access to a big LMG and the ability to breach through walls with your face. Filling a team out with a good selection of classes, weapons and gadgets becomes crucial for not only synergetic team play, but some really intense epic moments that certain classes are perfectly suited for. It felt awesome holding down the objective as the heavy using my LMG to hold off approaching enemies while the objective ticks down, all the while the building I'm in is crumbling around me from various different explosives. Now, one thing I want to point out with the Finals is the movement. It feels stiff. It makes you feel like you're sometimes fighting for momentum, so your character gets moving, but they never quite get there. Almost as though the movement stiffness you'd expect in Battlefield has been dialed up to 11. It took me a good few matches to get used to it, and even then it still didn't feel quite right. Anyway, I've said my piece on that for now. I will digress as I want to talk about destruction. This game was pitched as having very dynamic destruction, which sounded awesome. And given the history of many at Embark Studios, it was very possible, but still sounded quite a tall order to actually pull off. Now, I'm really pleased to say that the destruction in this game is one of the most impressive features, offering not only visual spectacle, but also allows the players to really get creative with how they approach a situation. The best example I can think of from my time in the playtest was having the objective stolen from my team, and they didn't just wipe my squad, walk in and take it. No. They remodeled half the apartment complex and stole the objective from the room we were in without ever entering said room. So picture this, we're top story of an apartment complex, banking our vault to score points. We heard gunshots around us, however the room for now was uncontested. When our bank timer got low, near to the point of us scoring, the floor collapsed underneath us, causing my squad to become separated and lose sight of the objective and each other. From there, myself and one of the squad mates were hunted as we desperately tried to make sense of the situation and were eliminated in the chaos. All the while they began to steal the objective. This whole while, my last squad mate desperately trying to get through the rubble and debris left from the aforementioned floor collapse to help us. They planted explosives on their ceiling and our floor around the objective to elicit a collapse, bringing the objective, and in turn us, to them. Genius. Honest genius. They planned an ambush on us by moving the objective to their advantage and picked us off while they did it. Now, plenty of games have done destruction before, but only in the Finals was I able to get a situation like this to occur with near flawless execution and it seem entirely intended. So as for the maps in the playtest, there were about 2, maybe 3 maps, each had a day and night variant, and you might have guessed it, but the map design is really on point here. Not only catering to their dynamic destruction, but really allowing you to make full use of your gadgets if you're good enough. One map, which centered around high-rises in a city metropolis, had this little hover train, tram thing, which had the chance to spawn an objective on it, allowing for not only a quick getaway for a team in need, but also became a centerpiece for combat for teams fighting over the top spot if that was the only viable objective to take. I'm not sure how many maps will be available at launch, but if they're anything like the few I've played so far in this playtest, we're going to be in for a good time. Anyway, I've gushed about the destruction of maps for long enough. I think you get the point. I want to talk objectives. In the playtest, they only had one objective mode called Cash Out. Now, it's a little confusing, so bear with me. This saw players, once spawned in, beeline it for a vault. Once there, they had to open the vault to get the cash box, and then take the cash box to the Cash Out station. All of these have a timer attached to them, with the exception of transporting the cash box. However, one thing to note is that everybody on the map is aware of where the objectives are, and in turn where you are if you're in possession of the objectives. It might sound simple, but when put into practice, it's actually a little confusing. It took me a few rounds to understand it fully anyway. Quite a unique mode given the format of 4 teams of 3 players, with usually only 2 objectives active at a time. Now, initially, I wasn't sold on this mode, but once I got in the rhythm of it, I started really enjoying my time with this one. I hope they have some more generic modes as well, some TDM, perhaps some crazy big team battles or something. I'm sure Embark aren't going to have one mode. That would seem like a bit of a wasted opportunity given the potential of this game. Either way, I'm looking forward to whatever it is. One other thing I'd like to mention here are the round events that I noticed popping up throughout my time playing. At certain points, the game show host will announce round modifiers. These can be things like low gravity, meaning people can now slowly catapult themselves across the map, or high damage, meaning everybody in the game's damage is amplified massively. I could only remember those 2, but I found they often changed up gameplay quite a bit, leading to disadvantaged teams being able to escape or fight back and win a fight depending on whether it was low gravity or high damage respectively. In any case, these were nice additions to the game, and they didn't feel annoying or cumbersome when they activated, which I think is really key for big game-changing events like these. And I'm confident, or at least I hope, there will be more added to the game later on. Now that's to say, there's definitely some areas of the game, like the classes could do with some fleshing out, maybe some more weapons, and hopefully that movement won't feel like it's fighting you constantly. But these are only small gripes with the game that largely is pretty damn fun. I believe Embark still let you sign up via their website, link will be in the description, if you wanted to jump in for their next playtest, whenever that may be, which I really recommend you go and check this one out. But yeah, overall I'm really excited for this one, and I can't wait to play more.